Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Mystical. Today, I want to bring you a video going over the buffs and changes that happened this past Tuesday. And I also want to go over some builds that I think are good as well, because hybrid has started to become more popular again. And I don't think much has changed for caster Mistweaver, but I just want to give you the most up-to-date builds. And with that said, let's jump right into the video. The TLDR of the buffs are that, in my opinion, I think they're good. I thought they were actually good changes. Feather Feet is amazing now that it works with Song of Chi-Ji. I'm so happy about that change. The issue with the changes, the statue and the Feather Feet change, is I really can't take full advantage of them because I just can't get to them in the talent tree. I really can't. And I'll talk about this later in the video, but one, Mistweaver has so many good PvP talents that Feather Feet is nearly impossible to play. So it's really hard to play. And then two, I actually, and I'm not even kidding, I tested a lot yesterday. I did about 33s, I did a few shuffles, and Unison is really good. So this made, I was healing with my statue and I did maybe 10 million healing, and when I used Unison, it was doing about 20 to 25 million healing. It was like my number 3 heal in every single match. So Unison's good, it's just hard to get to. So that's the TLDR. The mana buff was good. The Vivify buff is always welcome, of course, but those are the main changes that happened. So that's what I think changes were good. They're kind of hard to get to. All right, let's talk about the changes. So the first one is a 5% mana buff. This is, again, mana buffs are always welcome for sure. Mistweaver needs mana. We don't have damage reductions, we only have healing, so mana does get kind of cut through, especially late in dampening. But yeah, this is good. It doesn't really affect shuffle that much because I don't think I've ever oomed in shuffle ever, but I think it does help hybrid out quite a bit. Hybrid, one of the biggest weaknesses with hybrid is you kind of rely heavily on renewing mist and enveloping mist a lot. Vivify is okay, but you're really focusing on enveloping mist, which obviously costs a lot of mana. So the mana buff is great. Doesn't really affect shuffle too much because the rounds are so short, so it doesn't really matter too much. For twos, it's pretty good. Twos is solid. I think I've outmanned every single healer in twos, unless it's like a feral where it's a lot of consistent damage. But as long as your teammates are trading cooldowns, you don't need to heal through a lot of damage. It's actually not terrible. For threes, I think this is where you're going to see it the most. You know, you're getting that mana regen when you're CC'd, you know, everything like that. So I think you're going to see it a lot in threes. I think you're going to be out mana quite a few people because you're not even playing energizing brew or life cycles anymore because of the way how talents are set up right now. So you do kind of lose this mana, but with this mana regen, it doesn't really matter that much, which is really nice. I swapped over to my tune that I was doing most of the games on because I want to show you some of the numbers. But the next buff is the buff to Vivify. So this was a 20% buff to Vivify, which is great. So I'm going to try to find a long game. Vivify, listen, I'll say this every time. Any buff to Vivify or Enveloping Mist are welcome, but I really think the issue right now is the healing profile of Mistweaver is just weird. So this is, I believe this is a 4 or 5 minute, this is a 4.5 minute game, and you just see the Enveloping Mist and Vivify is great. Ancient Teachings is from Crackle, but I really wish Renewing Mist would get some love. I know it got a little bit of love, but look, it's healing for 65k tick, 76k tick. It needs more. Like, it needs more than that. I would rather have my Renewing Mist and Enveloping Mist be up here than Vivify. But with that said, any buff to Vivify or Enveloping Mist, fantastic. I think this is good. One thing I do like is they're not buffing Crackle, and I'm not saying I want Crackle to be bad, but I don't want Mistweaver to rely on Crackle to heal, essentially, right? Like, good teams are going to stop your Crackle. Even if they're not good teams, you could just randomly get like knocked or CC'd or something on your Crackle and lose a what? This is 19%, almost 20% of my healing. So I do like the buffs to Vivify. I'm really hoping Envelop Mist gets... Envelop Mist was good. I'm hoping that Soothing Mist or even like Renewing Mist, one of these two gets buffed at some point, because I just wish my hots did more healing, essentially, especially with how important Renewing Mist is. Like, maintaining Renewing Mist is so important. So that's just my thoughts on that buff. Overall, though, not terrible. I don't mind it. The next one is Feather Feet, and if you don't know, I love Feather Feet. I freaking love this spell so much, and I was so sad that at the start of the season, or when they introduced it, it was bugged with Song of Chi-Ji, but they just fixed it this week too. So I was really sad, but it's fixed, which is great. So this allows you to first of all, you need to play lighter than air, and what you can do is when you have lighter than air up after you cheat torpedo, you can cast while moving. So you could use Soothing Mist, you could use Song of Chi-Ji, and I think you could just like normal cast like your spells, which I think is so good, right? Because what, it lasts 12 seconds now? Yeah, it's 12 seconds. So this is great. I think this is amazing. I think that there's two issues with it. One, no one plays lighter than air. I play it and I love lighter than air. No one plays lighter than air. Like, the reason for it is it's nerfed in PvP. Or, well, it's nerfed and then nerfed even more in PvP. So you get the dash, but it increases the cooldown of your roll and cheat torpedo by 2 seconds, and it's actually 4 seconds in PvP. So no one really plays it because you're actually nerfing your mobility. So that's the first thing, is lighter than air probably just shouldn't be nerfed. I actually don't understand why it hinders your cheat torpedo and roll. I'm not a big fan of it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it's a PvP talent. And the one thing that Mistweaver has that's really, really, really good is we have really good PvP talents. So first of all, Peaceweaver, we all know it. Peaceweaver is basically mandatory into 99% of matchups. So Peaceweaver is already a point, right? And then you have Zen Focus Tea, which you're playing Mistweaver, you're using Soothing Mist, you're going to cast. If you're playing against any comp with a range kick, you're going to play Zen Focus Tea. But even if they don't, disarm, right? If they don't have a range kick, you're probably playing into a melee. So then you have grapple weapon. And then the third talent is Zen Sphere, which is 15% healing to your ally plus 10% damage done to an enemy from all sources. Or you have Eminence, which allows you to port while stunned, which is good for setup comps or if teams are trying to go you. And then you also have Zen Focus Tea, and then occasionally I play Counteract Magic versus like Balanced Druids and Ellie Shamans. So you have 3 other PvP talents that, in my opinion, oh, and then you also have Absolute Serenity, which if you're playing Counter of the Celestials, it's actually pretty good. But this is another reason why no one plays Absolute Serenity. Like, I don't play Absolute Serenity when I play Counter of the Celestials because it's just the PvP talents are better. So you're stuck with these 2 dead talents that are good. They're actually good. Absolute Serenity and Featherfeet, they're actually good. But you can't play them because Zen's like Absolute Serenity gives you immune to all CC, and we don't play it because Zen Spheres, Zen Focus Tea, and Eminence, even Counteract Magic is a little better. So I think the issue with Featherfeet, like I'm trying to say, is you just can't play it. So what I would recommend, and I don't know anyone at Blizzard, so I'm just talking to nobody right now, but I'm just saying Featherfeet, in my opinion, should be a Mistweaver talent. 1, because it's hard to get to, but 2, it actually has more use in PvE than PvP, 100%. Like, I've done Keystones this season, many Keystones this season. PvE would benefit from Featherfeet way more than PvPers. So I would recommend maybe putting Featherfeet on a choice node here. Make Peer into Peace a baseline spell, first of all. Like, being able to swap your Soothing Mist from target to target with Vivify or Envelop Mist is insane. Like, this needs to be baseline. So make Peer into Peace baseline, and then make Featherfeet a choice node here with Pool of Mist. And then if you're Fist Weaving, you can Pool of Mist. If you're casting, you can play Featherfeet and Crackle and all that. All right, the final change is to Jade Serpent statue, and it's more of a buff and a slight change. So they buff the healing by 60%, and then they increase the channel time to 14 seconds, I believe. I think it was 14 seconds, which is great. And I swapped to this one because I want to show you what I've been testing out and I'm very excited with. But one thing I wanted to note is in the opener, or at the start of the video, I said that's kind of hard to get the full potential of the Jade Serpent statue. And that's because when I saw the buff, I was kind of confused at first, but I was excited because Unison is one of my favorite talents. I wish that they would expand on Unison a little bit because I think it has a lot of potential. But when I raided, Unison was always one of my top heals. So I thought maybe in PvP it could be good, and it wasn't good before, but it's actually decent now. So this was the build I was testing all day today. I dropped the Tea of Plenty, I dropped Peaceful Mending, and I dropped Tear of Mourning. And I'm gonna explain, like, I'm not a fan of that at all, but I had to. And I played Resplendent Mist and Unison because on this monk I play full mastery. So Resplendent Mist was what I was already playing. So I was already dropping the other talents. And what this showed was, look at this healing breakdown. My statue healing is my number 3. And it did 25 million healing just from my statue. This is just my statue, by the way. That's it. Like, my number 1 heal was Vivify from the buffs, which is great. And then Crackle. And then literally my statue, which is insane. And then I swapped to a different build. I swapped to just playing, I dropped Unison, I played Peaceful Mending. And my healing, this was a 5-minute game. Let's see. My statue healing is here, number 5. So I did 4 million more healing with Unison, and a lot of it was over healing as well, or a good amount of it, what, 36% of it. And so you could just see how much healing you can do with your Soothing Mist, which is, I think the 25% increase or the 25% other healing to another second ally has been helpful with healing 2 targets. Do I think it's insane? No, but the issue that I'm running into with trying to get to Unison or even Peaceful Mending is that it's locked behind 2 talents that cost 2 points. And my recommendation, and again, I'm sure, you know, no one from Blizzard's watching, which is okay. But my recommendation is that I think these are some of the last 2-point talents that Mistweaver has. Resplendent Mist, Secret Infusion, and Rapid Diffusion. I think Mistweaver would actually benefit so much if this... Rapid Diffusion should be 1 talent. I think it should be 1 point and I'd be able to play like Uplifted Spirits, which would be amazing, or even just like energy, my mana talents, which would be even better. So I think Rapid Diffusion should already be 1 talent, but I think Mistweaver would benefit greatly if these talents were 1 point. Resplendent Mist and Secret Infusion, it's just so hard to get. I want to play Mending Proliferation and I want to play Unison, but the issue now, especially after the Shayloon's Gift changes, and moving Shayloon's Gift up was great, but again, it caused us to use 1 point in the 2nd tier, which means we can't play our mana talents. But these are now mandatory, which means we can't really customize down here. So I'm full mastery, so I play Resplendent Mist, so I think it's really important. But then I have to choose between Mending Proliferation and Tea of Serenity. But if Resplendent Mist was 1 point, right, I could play Tea of Plenty and I could play Unison, and I think that would be so good. And even then you could like go here, right? I just think it'd be so good. So those are my thoughts. I think the statue heal, weird change, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things that you can pinpoint on Mistweaver healing wise that could have gotten buffed. Weird change. I still think it's good. All right, I said I would give you some updated builds. So this is the hybrid build that I see. I've tweaked it slightly, and I can give you the normal one if you want, but this is the hybrid build I've been playing. Now, you will mostly be playing hybrid in 2s and shuffle. I actually think hybrid is better than Crackle in 2s and shuffle by far. Damage is the most important thing in those brackets. So keep that in mind. If you're doing 2s, if you're doing shuffle, I would recommend playing hybrid. It's fun. It's actually a really fun play style. It's based around your rushing wind kick that does a ton of damage, 25-yard cone in front of you. And for Crackle, so this is the build I run every single day. It is very weird, but I do play Clash. I think Clash is amazing. I do play Lighter Than Air, even though no one likes it. It's okay. I love Lighter. I love that little dash. It's hilarious. On the right-hand side, I'm full mastery on this monk, so I play Resplendent Mist, but I don't think many people do. So if you're playing full haste, go with Tea of Plenty and go with Tear of Morning, and then you're still playing Shayloon, and then everything else is pretty much the same. So those are the 2 builds that you're going to want for PvP right now. If you have any questions at all, or if you have any weird builds or cool builds or fun builds, please share them with me. I'm all for just having fun and trying out different builds. So with that said, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And that's it for me. Hope everyone has a fantastic rest of the day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.